Yay, we are here. We are here. How exciting. How exciting. I am so excited to be here. Are you excited, Gianna?
I am.
I am too. Welcome to the So podcast. Oh my gosh, we are your hosts. My name is Stacy, and we are going to get this party started. And my co-host's name is
Gianna.
Gianna. So it's Stacy and Gianna. Thank you so much, and welcome to. This is literally our first show. Like we've done some practice, right, Gianna? But this is
Hmm.
first time pulling this together. And so we're so grateful that you all are here and watching and connecting with us. And it's our hope to grow an incredible community of women and just so excited. So again, my name is Stacy and we are in beautiful sunny South Florida. We are natives of South Florida, right? So we have a different perspective on life altogether, just so you know. South Florida is a different, right? Different state.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're in Florida, but South Florida is a different state. So super excited. We are here because we want to sow, and sow stands for single, engaged, wedded, or widowed, right? So wherever, whatever season of life you're in, we are here to talk to you. And we believe that as women, we go through so many different things in life, albeit personally, professionally, spiritually, emotionally. And so we wanted to create a safe place where women could come and gather and enjoy one another and hear perspective from women who are just living life in a different capacity, right? And so I'll tell you a little bit about me. I literally have been working professionally in the beauty industry since I was 19 years old. And so I love the beauty industry. I worked my way through college in the beauty industry. I loved it. I started teaching for a short time and realized that it wasn't for me. And God opened up a window for me to continue working in the beauty industry in a professional capacity. So I've worked in direct sales and in leadership. If there were management and what we did, it would be considered management. And I still do that today. I absolutely love it. I really believe that beauty, whether it's hair, nails, makeup, like that's like a universal language with women,
Mhm.
right? So I love being a part of that industry, and I love to be able to support other women in that industry as well. And so, but I always had a desire, even from my early days. My friends used to, from high school, one in particular, she always called me Oprah. Oprah, Oprah. So I've always wanted to kind of explore my communication side. And so that's what my degrees are in from college. I graduated from Florida Atlantic University here in Boca Raton, Florida, and so I always wanted to explore. And God gave me the idea of the Soul podcast a couple years ago. But Gianna, don't we hear things and then sit on them?
All the time.
Yeah, and so thank you, Gianna, for encouraging me to make this dream become a reality, and so that's why I'm so blessed to share this time and space with you. We talk every day, and we talk about some of the most crazy, funny things. And today we're going to talk about friendship, which is, I think, so important, right?
Mhm.
But Gianna, I want everybody to know about you because you are one of the most amazing people I've met.
Thank you for thinking so. Oh. I'm Gianna. I'm a school counselor. I've been in education for 20 years. I am that's pretty much what I do. I was a teacher for 10 years and I became a school counselor. Now I'm interested a little bit in leadership, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm excited about the podcast because I know it's a dream of yours. It's something that you've wanted to do for so long, and I'm here to support you in your dream. And since you know me, that I'm always up for an adventure. I'm always up to learn new things, do new things, try new things. So this is something new and exciting. And like you said, just some of the conversations that we have, I'm sure that other people have the same ideas, the same thoughts, or sometimes going through the same things. So I'm just excited to talk about those things and share with other people, let women know they're not alone. We're all going through the same things right now, and we're just gonna talk and explore together.
Right. And invite other women into the conversation, right?
Mhm.
And we want to talk about things that affect women across the board, right? Albeit, health, finances,
Mhm.
relationships, fitness, whatever, right? Um,
Mhm.
Creativity, authenticity, just encouraging women to step out of their comfort zones. And so this is a step out of our comfort zones. We can talk, right?
Yes. Yes.
Lord knows we can talk, but this is so different, right? Because we're doing something different. And I think whenever you start something different, it's okay to be a little scared, right? It's okay to
Mhm.
be a little nervous, but I am purposing to lean in. And I know you are too,
Mhm.
in and to be our authentic selves. And hopefully we'll have people that fall in love with us. And I'm sure they will because we are
Mhm.
in love with women and their lives and what they want to accomplish already. We've decided that we want to support women. And so
Mhm.
I think that's half the battle, right? So with
Mhm.
that said, we have a mission. And I want to share. Should I share the mission, Jen?
Yes.
Okay, so here's our mission. So the mission of the Soul podcast is to create an uplifting atmosphere where women can educate and inspire one another. As we stitch our experiences and our feelings, we will inevitably become more aware and more compassionate towards one another. As we sow, S.E.W.W, our mission will be to stitch, to mend, to repair, and to even pattern our lives in a way that stimulates our creativity, encourages authenticity and self sufficiency while strengthening social connections. That's what we want to do. So that's why we're here. So this is a safe place. This is a safe place, right? We want to create a safe place because I think Gianna and I, a lot of the reasons why we've clicked and jailed so much is because I think we've had a lot of similar experiences.
Mhm.
And I know we've both been told, girl, you're so sensitive, and girl, blah, 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 blah. And we're here to say, if you're sensitive, it's okay to be sensitive.
Mhm.
It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to not be so sensitive. It's just
Mhm.
okay to be you, right? And that's the thing that we want to create and have a space for women to look forward to. So that's what I'm excited about. Um, so Gianna, what do you think you're most excited about? Because we're getting ready to talk about friendship, but what excites you? You think about, what are you hopeful for, right? Like, what are you hoping, women get out of this? And of course, we want women to have a good time, right? Because
Mhm.
work can be woo for people, right?
Mhm.
So just a safe place where people can plug in. But what else do you think?
I think connections. I know today's topic is about friendships, and we're going to go through different types of friendships and what friendships mean. But I think I think having a connection, having somewhere to go, to listen in, so that your voice is heard, to feel heard, to feel seen. I'm hoping that we can make others feel heard and seen, and that they can make a connection. You know what I mean? And just know, that other people are going through the same things. They're feeling the same way, and it's an outlet. It's
I
an outlet.
love it.
Mhm.
To let people know they're not alone, right? I
Mhm.
I have studied so much on loneliness and lack of social connection, and I think when COVID came around, right, I think the loneliness epidemic, it skyrocketed, right?
Mhm.
Because we didn't have any other choice but to kind of be in our own respective corners, right?
Mhm.
You had to learn how to sit with yourself. You couldn't just get up and go to the movies or get up and go to the mall or get up or whatever. You had to sit with yourself. And I think that process, it strengthened some people, but I would be hard pressed to believe if there weren't more people out there who were still living with the effects of COVID, right? Of just being by themselves and not having anybody to talk to, or not, having a place where they feel like, yeah, these people understand where I'm coming from,
Mhm.
right? Or
Mhm.
these people can shed a little bit of light or give me a little bit of hope. That's all we really want to do, right? And we
Mhm.
want to have fun, no pretenses, no anything. We just want to have fun. And
Mhm.
so our tagline is really exciting, and I love to talk about our tagline because I just think it's so us. Our goal is to be classy and cheerful, real and respectful, though, right? And so
Mhm.
I think as women, that's just something that we want to do, it's something that we want to be, and that's what we hope we embody. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to, have a good time and talk, because we're going to talk, honey. We're going to talk. But we just want to keep it as cheerful as we possibly can, because the world, everywhere else, right? The world is cray cray, right? Where
Mhm.
people are working with people they don't want to work with. People are, even living in relationship with people they don't want to be in relationship with. Like, we could talk about it all day, right?
Mhm.
But we figured the first thing that we would talk about with our series is friendship, and it's because we became fast friends, Gianna. Like,
Mhm.
it's I mean, and I think for most people, friendship has become taboo, right? We've been talking
Mhm.
about it a little bit, and because people aren't really like focused on friendship, right?
Right. Right. Um, I think that especially women, I think a lot of women are afraid of um, friendships or making friendships or labeling certain connections as friendships. So, yeah.
Yes, the labeling. It's so true. And you brought that up, and I was like, man, Gianna, that's such a good thing to think about, because the labels that we put on things can either be super successful or super harmful.
Mhm.
And so, but either way, like, I think that's what we're conditioned to do. We label things, we label people, we label situations. We want the labels, but we don't want the labels at the
Mhm.
same time. So yeah, so we're gonna get started with this conversation. And because this is the So podcast, we got the needles and the pin cushion. So the first needle in our pin cushion that we're gonna talk about is how we met, Gianna. Let's talk about it. Should I start or you start?
You can start.
Okay, so Gianna and I have the most incredible mutual love in your life, in our lives, right? Gianna's aunt has been one of my personal and business mentors since I was really young. And when I tell you, when I met her, she walked in the room and you would think Diana Ross had walked in the room. And I love, right? She's so Diana Ross, Diane Carroll, yes. So I immediately gravitated to her because the women in my family, she just looked like the women in my family. And
Mhm.
the business that we were in, I didn't really see a lot of women of color who carried themselves so beautifully and so regally, right? So I literally attached to her, right? And so I've learned so much from her, not just in business but in life. And y'all have adopted me into your family, which has been such. I could cry just thinking about the connection, because when I tell you I love every single person,
Mhm.
it's so amazing. But I had no idea that this friendship would form, Gianna, but
Mhm.
are. And I remember we were just kind of sitting on the couch one day and we just started talking. And I think we found out that we had a lot of things in common. And then I think it really opened up when you were like, come to my birthday brunch. And it was like, oh my gosh. But remember, you had invited me to brunch one time before that and I wasn't able to make it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I was like, oh my gosh, she's never going to invite me anywhere again. But then you did, and came to your birthday brunch, and then here we are. Like, you would think we've known each other
Yeah.
for forever, and so that's kind of how we met. And like, I think we just started talking about just life and what we wanted to do. Right, if we ever wanted to pivot and shift careers. I'm about 100 days older than Gianna. About 100 days, about 4 months. Yeah, older
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Gianna. And
Yeah.
so, us being the same age and born in the same year, and of course, as time has continued to move on, we found that we have so many, things in common and have so many shared experiences. And one of our shows, we haven't planned it yet, but don't worry, it's coming. We are the oldest granddaughters in our family, right? And so
Mhm.
we have a story to tell about all of that too. So many different connections, but I think you said it best one time, like, God knew we needed each other, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's such a blessing. So, how do you recall it?
I mean, you said a lot, but I'm trying to remember. So I remember Stacy, my aunt's friend Stacy. I don't even think I thought about the connection. Just a family friend. I mean, I don't I just know you were around.
Hmm.
And I know that my aunt loves you. And you already know that. So you would be around at family events. And I remember that day, and I think I was probably stressed out because that was a tough year for me as far as my career. And I think your energy just led me to just like have a whole therapy session on the couch. I think I had like a whole like life altering therapy session. I was like, well, look, I want to do this. I'm about to pivot. I'm changing my whole life. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. And you were just like you doing that. And just listening and letting me talk and giving advice and giving your opinion, and you weren't judgmental, and you didn't kind of tell me, this is what you should do, which is a lot of times what I get from people. And so I think that's where the connection was first made, because it was like a comfort. It was a comfort, a positive energy. And then I think after that we spoke a few more times, and I think I did invite you to go to brunch. I think we found out we're the same age, we like some of the same things like brunch. And like brunch.
Hmm.
And I think you had already made plans or something. And then it was my birthday, and you came for brunch, but I don't think you went home until like probably late in the evening, if not late at night that night, because you came and met me at my friend's house, and we talked, and we had our own little personal party, and that meant a lot because it was my birthday, and you helped them to celebrate me, which was really special to me. So and since then, I mean, it's been rolling
It's been
since then.
rolling.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little dance party. We'll get up and dance for 5 minutes and sit down. And then we'll have a little cocktail, get up and dance for a few minutes and sit down, and then
Mm-hmm.
talk. And but isn't that how, I think that's how most people would love to for their friendships to develop just kind of organically. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hang out, come, let's talk, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Think the little things, right, make all the difference in the world. And one of the things that I know I try to be, I don't get it right all the time because I can be thinking 10 things, a million things at one time, but I do try to listen because I know what it feels like for people to say they're listening, but they're really not. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm talking to somebody, I really do try to listen and focus on what they were saying. And I think just kind of being in the same place, just thinking about pivoting, doing some things differently, incorporating
Mm-hmm.
more things into what I was already doing, and hearing you have the courage to say, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. I think it was what the conversation that I needed to hear too, because here we are with the Soul podcast too.
Mm-hmm.
God had given me the vision a couple years ago, and just honestly, just dealing with the thoughts in my own head, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, this isn't going to work, and that's going to work, not going to work. And what is this person going to? Is this person going to support? Is this person not? And it's like you do all of these things, and but God has already said go, right? God has said go, and you're still at the starting line. You haven't even laced up your sneakers yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what kind of gave us the courage to really just kind of start that conversation. And I know when I started talking to you about this podcast, you were just like, "Okay, ma'am, so when are we going to get started?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then you were just like, "You can do this." And God knows I have some other incredible friends in my
Mm-hmm.
life who have been saying, go, just do it,
Mm-hmm.
go, just do it. And I hadn't, right? But it was time now, right? It was time now. And so I just think nothing happens before it's time. And one thing that I have a girlfriend who has always said, Stacy, you haven't met all the people who are going to love you. God
Mm-hmm.
revealed to you all the people who are going to love you. And I
Mm-hmm.
think one of your gifts Gianna, and you don't even see it as a gift because it's just who you are. But I see it in your everyday, in your conversations. You're such an includer,
Mhm.
and that's such a gift, right? Because in the world that we live in, like, mean girls are glorified. Like, people
Mhm.
literally will get on social media and talk about how they don't like this person, they don't like that person, and to each their own. But I just really believe, like, that's not what we're here for if you have a platform. And so, because I'm an includer too,
Mhm.
I'm like, you want to go, let's go, let's everybody go, let's, okay,
Mhm.
tables, let's get 2 tables, okay.
Mhm.
You need a high chair, you need a low chair, we're gonna figure it.
Mhm.
And I know that's who you are. So that's one of the things that drew me to you. And I think a lot of women have been in places where they have not been welcomed all the time. I know that's my story. Um,
Mhm.
I've been around people who I felt tolerated around. And not
Mhm.
tolerated because sometimes people just don't like your light, right? Or you're
Mhm.
bright, right?
Mhm.
And so they tolerate you because they want a little bit of it, but they don't want too much of it, right?
Mhm.
I've never felt that around you, and so that's something that I'm so grateful for. So, fast friendships, they you're so funny. You like, thank you. Hilarious. But but I think more women need to be open to faster friendships because there are people out there who are like you, who are like us, who are looking for genuine connections with other women. So yeah, so here we are,
Here we are.
and who knows where we'll be, right?
Somewhere amazing, doing amazing things.
Amazing. We talk about it all the time, right? It's so true. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. What were you gonna say?
Um, I think when you say fast friendships, I think like we said before, even I think maybe it's the inclusion. Like you said, I don't really think about it sometimes. I probably have felt it and just brushed it off. But I think maybe that's something that prevents people from connecting and from having fast friend or allowing fast friendships to kind of evolve. I think sometimes maybe experience, not so great experiences might keep people from it. I know I'm getting into the topic and that's not it's not time yet, but I just thought about it when you said fast friendships because I just think that I don't know. I mean I don't I think it's easy sometimes to just say to not be bothered with it or to say, instead of just saying, hey, let's do this or let's try this or and I think that at our age, we have less time in front of us than we do behind us, you
Mhm.
know, and I think that spending that time making connections and enjoying life with other people, I think that's important.
I agree.
I think that's what it's about.
It makes your life fuller, you
Mhm.
know. It's such a blessing because I know you wake up early, but it's such a blessing whenever you send me a text message early in the morning, even though you know I'm not
Up.
cognizant. You're like, good morning, have a happy Thursday, or
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. And I know we don't have time to do that every single day.
Mhm.
The fact that somebody thinks enough of you to say they talked to you the day before, so they know you might have been blue, or
Mhm.
I would say weepy, right? Between hormones, life, stress,
Mhm.
it weepy, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people I'll never have high blood pressure because I don't cry, right? Because I will get my tears out. But it's such a blessing to know that you can talk to somebody about how you felt about something, and the next day they'll, just send you a text or, just some type of encouragement, even if it's just something on Instagram or something on Facebook
Mhm.
to encourage you. It just makes it all the more better. So I agree with you 100%.
Mhm.
100%. So we ready for the pin cushion. We got another needle in the pin cushion. You ready?
Okay. Yes. So pin cushion number two, or pin cushion number two,
Hmm.
is about the importance of friendship.
Hmm.
So, um, I when we talked about this question, the importance of friendship, I think I automatically I'm like, wait, yeah, friendships are important. Like, being social is important. Spending time with other people is important. So at the time I was at work, I had a couple of co-workers near me. So I was like, hey, how important is friendship to you? And so one of my coworkers was like, it's not. And I'm like, what? I just stopped in my tracks because I can't believe you just said that. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not important? And she was like, well, if I have friends, I have them. But if I don't, I don't. Like, I'm okay without people. And so I'm like, okay, no, we I need to dig a little deeper because I'm trying to see why. And she's somebody that I call my friend. Um, and so I asked her, like, like, how did you get to this place? Like, what do you mean it's not important? And she was like, she thinks that being around people is like it's kind of something you have to do. You go to work, you have to be around people. You go places. You need to be around people, and conversing with those people in a positive way is okay with her. Like, she enjoys that. But friendships, and I think that's why I started thinking about how we label friendships. But friendships for her, she just felt like it wasn't something important. So I asked another coworker, same question: how important are friendships to you? So she mentioned that she has one friend. Again, labels. One friend, and she was like, that's her friend, that's her homegirl. If she needs her, she's there for her. If she and vice versa. So my thing was, well, what if she wasn't there? What if she wasn't there? You say it's not important that she's there, but what if she wasn't there? So then she was like, okay, well, I have my mom or I have myself. Like, I take care of myself. I don't need anybody to take care of me. So, I thought about it, and I thought about, why people might feel this way, might feel like it's not important. I asked my daughter
Mhm.
in her 20s, and she was like, no, friendships are important. No, you gotta have friends. Like, like, I have my bestie, and I have my friend this person, and my friend that person that I talk to and I spend time with, and I bounce ideas off of when I have ideas about stuff. No, that's important. Socialization is important. And so we kind of went back and forth about it. So, I'm not sure how other people see it.
Mhm.
Like I said, I think it's something that I think we need people. Like I said at the beginning, I think we need connection. I think that's important.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that the concern is what people label as friends, because I think it's I think what they meant was like I guess like a deep connection,
Mhm.
and they aren't comfortable calling people who they don't have a deep connection with friends.
Yeah.
So if this is just somebody that I see or somebody I hang out with, that's not necessarily a friend. um, so, um, and I think also talking with them, I think that because of negative experiences that they've had with people,
Mhm.
it kind of made them feel like, okay, well, I don't need to have friends because this is what friends bring,
Yeah.
instead of focusing on the positive aspects of friendship and connection.
And it's so true because what you focus on gets bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Mm-hmm.
focus on the negative aspects, I think a lot of times that's what you get. But if you focus on the positives and what people
Mm-hmm.
do bring to your life, because it's impossible to get everything that you need in life from one person. I think that's why marriages,
Mm-hmm.
kind of have issues too, right? Because people go into marriages with a set expectations, and then when those expectations aren't met, then we automatically just like, okay, let's run for the hills. You're not giving me what I need. And so I agree with you. So you've made me even think so much more about the labels that we put on different friendships. I will say, one of the things in thinking about friendship, remember I said I'm going to do a quick poll, right, on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and Instagram, and I'm going to say, okay, tell me on a scale of 1 to 5 how important friendship is to you, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
get moderate. I'm not a huge social media content creator, but I typically get moderate, conversation on my posts, right? And so I want to show you all. This was the post, right? This was
Okay.
post on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and
Mhm.
5 being the highest. How important is it in your life for you to have friendships with others? No half numbers. Also, drop a coordinating heart with your answer based on your age range. Feel free
Mhm.
to explain your answer if you like. And so there's the heart for the 20s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. When I tell you I got not one response, you see, there's not one like on the post, there's not
Mhm.
one. And so I typically get moderate responses. And so in my mind, I was kind of like, did they see it?
Uh-huh.
We kind of talked about that. Like, do people see it?
Yeah.
But and so I'm sure some people saw it, right? Somebody had to see it. So the fact that no one said a thing,
Mhm.
like a loud message to me, like, is that the answer? Like, do people just not value friendship anymore? And so
Mhm.
is it too trivial to talk about? Are people still just kind of in their own worlds and just kind of thinking, I'm good. Like, I don't need people. And so that was kind of like wow to me. And so I said I was going to repost it. I think I will repost it.
Mhm. I think you should.
Okay, I will. Just to kind of see, but I'll post it in the morning time, right? Where when people are
Mhm.
up and fresh and see if I get some response. But I think it was just so funny because I'm a person who's always valued friendships.
Mhm.
People are important to me, right? So if you're a part of my life, like I don't look at anybody like they don't mean anything because
Mhm.
you're just as valuable to God as I am, or anybody else, right? We're all valuable in His sight. So I feel like if we spend time together, if we hang out, I'm concerned. Like if something is going on with you, or you just need to talk about something. And friendship is not about what you get, right? It's what you're privileged to give. And
Mhm.
my mom, let me tell you, she has a million of them. But what she has always taught us, even as young girls, my mom had all daughters, and so what she taught us was, if you want to have a friend, you got to be a friend.
Yeah, friend.
And I think
Mhm.
that's the part. Like, if we get so focused on being a friend, right, you will inevitably have the friend. And I
Mhm.
think that's what's so important. And it's kind of like one of those things, like you just have to be vulnerable, right? In
Mhm.
friendships, you have to be just as vulnerable as you are in romantic relationships. There has to be a sense of vulnerability, and I think with you and I, Gianna, that's something that we develop kind of quickly because
Mhm.
about everything. We've made
Mhm.
jokes up. We got names for people, situations, and I think it's that vulnerable sharing the ugly sides of things that maybe maybe we wouldn't blast on loud, but we can confide in each other and share. And I'm like, that happened to you, that happened to me too.
Mhm.
Yes, you are not alone, right? And I think that's what makes a healthy relationship. So to me, friendships are really important. And I'm close, just like you are, super close with your family, right? And I'm super close with my family as well. So I have, of course, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my aunts, my uncles. We all really close, but there's certain things that I think we still feel more comfortable sharing with our friends, right?
Mhm.
Because our elders, if you will, they want to fix it, right? And sometimes you don't want it fixed. Sometimes you just want somebody to listen, right? And sometimes that's hard when people love you. They want to fix it. They want to say, this is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. Do this, and this. But sometimes you don't want direction. You just want connection. And
Mhm.
that's why friendship is important to me, because you get connection.
Mhm.
You agree?
I do.
So, who was your best friend growing up? Who was your first best friend? You
I was
remember?
I was trying to think about who my first best friend was.
Mhm.
I I want to say, um, if I remember correctly, well, we'll say one of my best friend that I remember,
Mhm.
like being really close with.
Mhm.
She lived like 2 blocks over from me,
Okay.
and she was like we were like this. She had a sister. Um, I lived mostly with my grandmother, and like if I wasn't at her house, she was at my house. Like, we were friends until she went to college. And when she went to college, I'm trying to remember because I had other friends in the meantime,
Mhm.
but she was that friend. You know what I mean? Like I had other people even that I would call best friends in the meantime.
What's her name?
But hmm,
What was her name?
Latoya.
Latoya.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
And I had other friends that I would even call my best friend at times, but she was still that constant friend.
mhm.
And she went away, then she came back. I mean, we were when we kind of 'cause I think we just grew apart, and I think when we grew apart, we were adults when we grew apart. You know, I think life just happens.
Mhm.
So you know, I had my son. You know, she had, I think she had kids like a couple of years later. But life just happened. But that was my secret keeper. That was my, you know, walk around, play, spend the night, you know, camping in the front yard at her house. Like, you know, that was my home girl. That was my bestie.
Home girl, bestie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it. Well, you
Mm-hmm.
know what's so funny? I was trying to think back to like who my best friend was, right? And I remember in kindergarten, first grade, my best friend, her name was Robin. And I just kind of remembered that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I think about my other best friend who became my best friend in fifth grade, fourth
Mm-hmm.
grade, and her name was Kimmy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
of course you know, just you have different best friends, right? You're growing up, da da da. Da. But Robin was my first best friend, and I just remember I loved her so much. I gotta send her a message on Facebook. So we still we're still friends on Facebook. We actually just became friends on Facebook again, but she's beautiful. She was always a sweet person, and we did go to high school together. I think in elementary school, she may have left the elementary school and went to a different elementary school, and then we reunited maybe back in high school or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was my first best friend, and I'm telling you, we did nothing but be like chums and pals. I mean, I guess we had our own little nap times together, and we played together and all of that kind of stuff. But I remember as I got older and I got to like fourth or fifth grade, Kimmy was my best friend, and Kimmy lived around the corner
Mm-hmm.
us. And Kimmy, at the time, I believe she was living with her aunt at the time, and so my mom was our Girl Scout leader at the school, and Kimmy was mature for a fifth grader. She was
Mm-hmm.
worldly as a fifth grader, right? She was worldly, and so I remember us being really close, and then we went to middle school, and then that kind of drifted off, and then I had a new set of best friends. So
Mm-hmm.
I had so many different sets of best friends. I remember
Mm-hmm.
in middle school there were four of us, right? And we were just kind of like thick as thieves in sixth grade. But by the time we got to eighth grade and high school, everybody went to a different high school, so we weren't, the friends anymore. And then one of my best friends now, we've known each other since we were like 9 years old, and so she also went to a different high school, right? And so we didn't have that close connection during that season, but we both became. She's a cosmetologist, and so I was a nail tech, and so that's how I worked my way through school. And when she started when she had her first son, he was like my first nephew. You got a chance to talk to DJ the other day. He was
Mm-hmm.
my first nephew ever. And so I think friendships can kind of go like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you're super connected and always together, but I think it's so good to have friends that you don't necessarily have to talk to every single day, but
Mm-hmm.
they're there. I have so many friends that are like sisters that live in different states, and I know if I call them, they're there. They can get a prayer through for me. So
Mm-hmm.
my first best friends were different, like in every age grade. In every
Mm-hmm.
grade, it was
I think that's true. But when I think about Latoya,
Mhm.
so I'm sure in elementary school I probably had somebody that I considered my best friend. But when I think about Latoya, even when I was in middle school, we weren't in the same middle school, but we were neighborhood best friends. When I was in high school, I had a couple of other people who were my best friend, but then I still had Latoya, who was my best friend. And then, so moving throughout life, I remember her kind of always being there. And I did have other best friends who I probably felt like I couldn't live without, who I'm living without now. And
Mhm.
I think that
Right?
yeah, I I think that when 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 we're in when when our circumstances match. So when your circumstances match this person, if that makes sense, if I'm using the right word,
Yes, yes.
then that's your bestie. That's your best friend for that period of time. And you may not necessarily, you're not necessarily not the friend anymore, not their friend anymore. Circumstances change, situations change. So somebody else may have more in common with you at that time, and now that's your best friend because of whatever you're going through at that moment, or whatever your circumstance is like, or whatever your situation is like. So it is kind of a up and down, or whatever, or whatever you have in common. Sometimes we grow, we change, our interests change, our experiences change. Excuse me. And so our friends change.
Absolutely. I agree with you so much, but I think that's also the beauty of friendship, right? Because I really believe God wants us to explore those things and to meet people, because as we know, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? And we don't know until it plays out. We don't know
Hmm.
until it plays out. So, yeah, we've had some good experiences though. I think
Hmm.
with best friends and people that we can recall and have those warm, fuzzy moments with them. How do you think friendship has changed from like maybe our 20s? If we fast forward and now we're 20s, we're, adult women, and how has it changed for you?
So in my 20s, I was already a mom. And I think that I had a couple of people that I considered my best friends when I was in my 20s. I wasn't real cliquish, but a lot of people I knew in my 20s had like friend groups. So I think friend groups were more common in my 20s, like a group of friends that hung out. Um, I think the friends that I had, they were moms too, so we had that in common. We had known each other from high school, but we had, like, I guess, our kids in common, I guess.
Mhm.
And I think our interests, not just our interests with our kids, but also other things that we did together, our interests were so similar. And some of the life experiences that we were having at that time were so similar that made us close because we had so much in common. And then I think we all grew apart. And I think that happened because of different interests and different things happened in our lives. We were living in different places, and just different life experiences caused us to separate. But
Mhm.
I did ask this question also when I was talking to my coworkers, and I asked one of them, what's different now? Um, and she said that it's easier for her to not have friends now. She said that when she was in her 20s, friendship was more important to her. And that if she had an issue with a friend, she would try harder to fix it. So she was like, but now that she's older, if if it takes less for her to not have a friend. So where she would give somebody chance after chance when she was younger, she won't give them chance after chance now. And that, like I said, that's experience. That's having negative experiences. It's like, okay, well, I don't have time for this. And the other person that I asked, she said that when she was in her 20s, she thinks that it was similar. That friendships were important. She would put effort into to making sure that her fr- it the impression that I got was that she would put more effort into making sure that her friends' needs were met. And now she's kind of putting her needs first. So, you know.
And I guess that's fair. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think once you touch a hot stove a million times, it's kind of hard to not think about every stove being hot. Even if it's turned off, you don't know, right? If it's burned you so bad, you don't know. So I think we self-protect, right? But I think in doing that, I think there's a balance, right? Because I think as you get older, if I were to answer that same question about how it's changed, I think I'm wiser in who I select to be in my
Mm.
friendship circle, right? Like I
Mhm.
want to be around fun women, I want to be around funny women, crazy women, have a good time, but I also want to be around women who are grounded. I want to be around women who have something to lose, right?
Mhm.
Hanging around women who don't have anything to lose at this age,
Mhm.
because why would I do that, you know?
Mhm.
So I think it's fair, but I think you also like you shut out the miraculous, right? When you do that, because again, you're gonna meet other people. So I think I just have become wiser, which I think that's something, that most people do. They grow in wisdom, or we hope that's what most people do, right? Just grow
Mhm.
in wisdom and just know who's in your space, right? Because your space is sacred, and
Mhm.
you want to be around people who you want to be around people who are themselves, but you have some like-mindedness, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's fair, but I also think we have to be openly, maybe openly cautious as opposed to closed
Cool.
cautious.
Right. I think in the last couple of years, um, I think I've been more open to accepting people
Mhm.
because I may have had some of the same, I don't want to say issues, but the same thoughts that the people that I had the conversation with have. But I think that in these last couple of years, I'm 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 just trying to be open to new things and experiences, and I think that meeting new people is one of those things, and just meeting them where they are. I think their access to me may be a little bit different than other people's access to me, but that doesn't mean that I'm not friendly with them or I don't consider them friends. So I may Stacy may have access to me. You may have a level of access to me that other people that, so I may say may not have.
Right.
So I may be able to call you up and tell you if I want to talk about something at work, or I want to tell you how I'm feeling about, like, how I really feel about something that happened at work.
Right.
I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna give you the real,
The
and I'm gonna tell
business.
you this what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who does not have the same access to me, if they ask me what happened, I might be like, "Oh, I had a rough day," or "Oh, you know what I'm saying." So
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that this person isn't a friend and I'm not gonna converse with them. It
Mm-hmm.
just means that I'm not as open with them as I may be with you.
Yeah.
They still may be somebody that I care about, that I like hanging out with, and they may be concerned about me. They may have a certain level of concern for me. I may have a certain level of concern for them, but it's just not the same, if you know what I mean. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm understanding now that this friendship, when you're young, I don't know if you ever had experience where you, oh, this is my best friend, and somebody in your family like, that's not your friend.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, my grandmother.
yes, that
My grandmother say all your friends live here.
yes, 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 yes. That's
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
um, and the thing is that it may not be your friend in that sense. It may not be a close friend, but it may be somebody that you're okay with. And I think with maturity and with discernment, we kind of learn, okay, these are the people that I can trust to be in my little bitty inner circle. But then I got my hangout friends. I got my friends that I might share other things with or other experiences with.
Right.
Say, Stacy, I want to go ride a four wheeler,
Mm-hmm.
and Stacy gonna say no.
Or I'll come and watch.
Or I come and watch. I record you.
Mm-hmm.
So Stacy's my friend, but since Stacy don't want to do that, I may have another homegirl or friend that I may not be as close with, and she might say, "Let's ride."
Right.
So I'm gonna go ride the four wheeler with her. We're gonna have a good time, and then you understand what I'm saying. So it doesn't mean that, oh, that's not my friend. That's just my associate and my
Right.
Yes, I guess I'm just kind of seeing things a little bit differently, which is what I want to do. Like, I want to evolve, I want to grow, I want to have connections. Like, I remember, um think I had a group of friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember feeling um like putting them in a category. if this makes sense. And because I kind of felt the same way. Okay, I got my close friends, and then I got this group of friends. And then I remember, I can't remember what exactly happened, but something happened and like a light bulb went out. And I was like, these people love me. Like they really care about me. And it's not that I don't care, I didn't care about them too, because I did care about them. Like I was concerned about them, looking out for them. And then something happened and I was like, why am I considering them any less of a friend or any different than I would consider this person who I've been friends with for years? Like, as long as as long as they're not harming you, or I mean, at this age we know who's not a friend, we know who not to trust for the most part.
Right.
And then I think that there's different levels to it, and I think that there's different types of friendships. I think we just have to be open. But I'm okay with people who aren't open,
Yeah.
because I get it, I
Mhm.
understand it.
I think I told you I had a friend who had told me years ago. She was just like, "Well, Stacy, we have different friends for different things."
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I was offended by it, right? But she also was not an includer, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was a convenient includer, right? When it was
Okay.
for her, she included everybody, right?
Okay.
She was one of those people that I could feel excluded from sometimes, right? And I remember thinking, like, like it borderline hurt my feelings because I had known her for so long, right? And I think that's a common mistake that we make, right? Like we feel like
Mhm,
we known people and we have history with people, that those friendships should trump newer friendships.
mhm,
I'm a firm believer at this big age that it's the quality of friendship that you have, it's the
mhm,
consistency, it's the consideration, that's my word.
mhm,
Consideration, how that person considers you, right? That's more important to me at this season of my life than, my homegirl that's been my homegirl since we were 13.
mhm,
Wrong. I got some homegirls since I was that age that we are, our tagline is ain't no mountain high enough, right? We say that
mhm,
to each other because we show up for each other, right? But
mhm,
I think you can have people that enter your life who bring as much value, if not more, than people you've known for a long time. So,
mhm.
yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
What's our next question?
What friendships shaped your life most?
Hmm. So I will say for me, because I started a business really young and I didn't even really know what I was doing. I just thought it would be fun. And here I am almost 23 years later in the same said business. I grew
Mhm,
up with a lot of, I kind of matured around women who were mature, right?
mhm,
Older than me, like your aunt. I mean, we need a whole episode for her, right?
mhm,
How much I love her and respect her and how much she has just instilled in me and how much she has accepted me from day one and just all of the things. So I feel like I've been around older women who have poured into me so much. And when I say older, I'm not talking
mhm,
about, women who are significantly older, but just a little older than me
mhm,
who have kind of guided me and instilled different things in me to help me to become the person that I am. And
mhm,
um I would also say, just being so close with my mother and my grandmother, my aunts growing up, like just all of those things. So I feel like I have a little bit of all of their personalities, right?
mhm,
Wrapped up into me. But I also have friends, like one of my dearest friends on earth. I met her at a business conference. We were both in the same business, and
mhm,
she had seen me at one conference that January, right, of 2004, and we didn't make a connection. And then the next month we had another conference, and it was for new leaders in the company to come to, and
mhm,
it I know God had it set up for us to be assigned as power partners at that event.
Mhm.
that that created a 21-year friendship that she is really like my sister, like the big sister I never had. I'm the oldest of my siblings, so she became the like the big sister I didn't have. So it
Mhm.
was just like a different thing, like all together, right? Like
Mhm.
I have somebody that's like a big sister I can talk to, I can lean on, I can ugly cry with, because you can
Mhm.
cry with some people, but there's some people you can ugly cry with,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
we can ugly cry with each other, right? And so I think those are the kind of friendships that shaped my life, the ones that there were just no pretenses, right? They were just
Mhm.
love from the beginning. It wasn't what you could get from me or what I could get from you. It was just and has been love. So those are the ones that I feel like have shaped my life, on top of the friendships with my siblings and the women in my family. I got a lot of women in my family. So that's what I would say for me. What about you?
So I thought about the question.
Hmm.
I didn't think about my family when with this question, because it's kind of like, but for me with them it's kind of automatic.
Yeah.
And I know that I know that I will even go and say that sometimes caring a lot about friendships was may have been a little difficult with having the type of family that I have, because I always knew that if I ever needed anything for anybody for anything, that I have my family. Um so when if it if I needed anything, then that was my automatic turn.
But isn't
And
that such a
and
blessing? Not to cut you off, but isn't that such a blessing when you think
it
about it?
it
It's
is.
a
It is.
luxury, Gianna. It's a
It is.
luxury.
It is. And I think that I even remember kind of offending a friend a little bit because of it. But I think just knowing that I have them is just automatic. It's like, okay, well that's who I'm gonna call, or that's who I'm lean on, because I know that support is there. Um but I was thinking about maybe not life shaping friendships, but I remembered a time with a friend that I still have now, and I was I was married. Um, I can't say that I was happy. And this was she was more like a coworker than a friend at the time. And she was like, if you ever need anything, and I don't really know her, so now I'm a little suspicious.
Mhm.
And I remember she did hair, and my hair was busted. And she was like, I can't remember what we were talking about, and she was like, I do your hair. And I'm looking at her, so now I'm like, I'm gonna go get my hair done, but I don't know what she gonna ask me, because I'm thinking she want to know what's going on in my life or something like that. And when I say she did my hair, we talked, we were shooting the breeze, whatever. She didn't get in my business, ask me no questions, whatever.
Mhm.
She genuinely just wanted me to feel beautiful. And so I think I gave her like $10, $20. I can't even remember how much I had. Like I said, everything wasn't kosher at the time.
Right,
And
right.
I was like, and I remember leaving her house. She had a little shop in her house. And I remember leaving her house, and I was like, I kind of felt embarrassed, because I was like, that's all I gave this girl. I was like, oh, I might hear about it at work. She might tell people. Time went by, ain't nobody say nothing, she ain't say nothing, whatever. She was just, and I was like, she really did this because she liked me. And I think that it kind of and she would check on me, and I kind of felt like, you don't really meet people who care about you just to care about you. And I think it taught me a little bit about friendship, and it taught me that people, like, there are genuine people out there who care, and it's not because they don't want anything from you. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a love for people. I mean, she is the type of person, like, she loves women. She loves making women, kind of like you, love making women feel beautiful, feel good about themselves, and that's the only reason she did it. And so it that taught me about friendships, and she's had to be there for me. I can remember another time that I'm probably not gonna share,
Mhm.
where I needed her for something and she came through, and it was something that was difficult for me. Like, the ask that I asked was really difficult, but she came through without a problem, without a second thought. And I think that kind of shows you, like, you know that there are people that care about you and people that you could depend on, and that's what friendship is about.
It's so true. It's
Hmm.
so true. I guess we've been blessed, Gianna, because I have some friends. I have one girlfriend in particular. She can know what's going on with me, and she's like, "No, I don't like that. We getting ready to fix it." And before you know
Hmm.
it, it's fixed. And I'm
Hmm.
not even thinking about it. But just because I mentioned it to her, she's
Uh-huh.
like, "Yeah, we're gonna fix this." And before you know it, it's fixed. And so I think it's such a blessing. I think we've been blessed to be around people to pour into us, but we've also poured into other people too, right?
Hmm.
I'm a giver, right? It makes me feel so good to give, and I feel not good when I'm not giving. So I think the more you live, I think the more you're able to grow yourself as a person, and then just to kind of see, how you can become a better friend, right?
Hmm.
Because I think at the end of the day, like my mom says, to have a friend, you got to be a
You
friend.
gotta be a friend.
So
Yeah.
true. So, our last question is: Are we open to friendships?
Definitely,
Definitely.
definitely. I'm definitely open.
It's so funny. Back in the day, I would say maybe when I was in my 30s, our friends used to say, our close knit of friends that we went to like middle school with, we would say, if I didn't know you before, if you weren't my friend before 1989, we don't need you, right?
Hmm.
We used to say that in our 30s.
No new friends, like they
No
say.
friends, right? And but that, of course, that was immaturity. You get older
Hmm.
and you realize like there's nothing better than making, new friends and having those relationships and connections. But I am open, right? But I'm cautiously open.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
cautiously open
yeah.
because, not everybody comes to give. Some people just come to take. And I've been around some takers.
Mm-hmm. That's about.
Yeah, right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that includes men and women,
Mm-hmm.
platonic friendships, even with men. Like I've been around people who have, my best friend in middle school was a guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he and I are still friends today, certainly not as close as we used to be. And then when I got to high school, my best friend was another guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we don't talk anymore, right? We've had some differences that have caused us to kind of go our separate ways, and that's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because only God knows if we will, become friends again, and
Mm-hmm.
so we just wait and we just see, right?
Yeah.
We just
And
wait.
all of my friendship experiences have not been like heartwarming and wonderful, but they've they've taught me, like, I've learned from them. I've learned what I want in a friendship. And when I say I'm open, like, I'm just open to making connections even if they don't last, and getting to know people, because I might get to know somebody and discover that this not somebody I want to spend any more time with, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine, because whatever experiences I get, I'm learning from them, I'm growing from them, and I'm just open to being open, um, because they may teach me something that I need to know. They may be in my life for a reason. We don't know. I know that I've had some times. I've had friends, men who were friends. I think um I think in my friendships with men, they're different than women
Definitely.
friendships and platonic friendships. I'm not, but they're different. Their understanding of you is different. Your friendship with men is different. But I think that I'm just trying to be open to all of it. And like you say cautiously open, but I just mean the same thing, cautiously open,
Mhm.
and just seeing what connections I can make and being open to what's to come because we never know.
We never know.
We never know.
And when we close ourselves, we know we don't get anything new.
Right.
I do want everything that God has for me. I really do. And you just
Mhm.
never know who's going.
Yeah, you don't know what connection you might make
Mhm.
that might change your whole life.
It's the
You
truth.
never know.
The truth. A connection that can have you on a podcast. So let me just put it out there. You stuck with me. You stuck with me. And but I'm just so grateful for how our friendship is developing and growing, and it's such a blessing.
It
Such
is.
a blessing.
It is.
So celebrities have friendships.
Yeah.
Always, when I see celebrities on TV and they're like friends, I'm like, are they friends because they do the same thing, or are
Hmm.
they friends because they found that soul connection? And there are a couple friendships that I think are just powerful, right? Um,
Hmm.
and so I guess we should start with one of the first friendships, I think. And we don't have to talk about all of these; we can mention them. But oh my gosh,
Okay, Oprah and Gail.
Oprah and Gail. That's kind of like us right now, Gianna, with the podcast. Um, Oprah and Gail, they have been friends since they were in their early 20s, right? They both, in journalism and all of the things. And boy, oh
Mhm.
boy, these ladies are in their 70s, but they are still friends and,
Mhm.
doing life together and, just living life. And, but they're still very much individuals to me. So I
Mhm.
admire the friendship that they have because they're open, they're honest, they're candid, and I think that's healthy in a friendship. What do you think?
Mhm. I do. Um, so I like the way they support each other in everything that they do. So and I think that's important in friendship. And that's how you know that it's real. So when you see when you see one celebrating something important, the other one is there celebrating. And that's what I love about their friendship.
Yeah, yeah. Now these two,
And at first I didn't realize that they were friends in real life. I remember them. Do you remember them from Little Shop of Horrors?
I'm not a movie person. I
Oh,
know Little Shop of Horrors, though. I do
yes.
know. So they have been friends since they were little girls.
Mm-hmm. They were teenagers, right? Or
Well,
younger than that?
I don't know. Maybe like early teens. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe in their early teens. I think they said they were friends. But yeah, Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold. And
Yeah.
they have done so many incredible things together. Had a sitcom 30 years ago that people still watch every single day to this day.
Mm-hmm.
They really made an impact in television, being on the Martin show together and just working on so many other projects, and they've hosted the Soul Train Music Awards together. And I'm sure when they were younger, they talked about all of the things they wanted to do and accomplish, and they're doing those things. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
These two.
How long have they been friends?
I don't know. I don't know, but I think they've been in a few movies together for sure.
Mm-hmm. Seeing them together, they look alike.
Don't they look alike? I said the same thing. They look like they are related. Sanaa Lathan and Regina Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful women nonetheless, but very open about their friendships with each other. So I think that's so awesome. And of course, actresses and all of the things and starring in movies together, but obviously just that close friendship off the screen, on and off screen, I guess as they would say. Right?
Mm-hmm.
These two.
Oh yeah, I like their friendship too. They celebrate each other also, like on social media. So I see them on Instagram celebrating each other, and I think it's so nice the way they love each other.
Yeah, Sierra
They
and
love each other. They love each other's children. It's beautiful.
isn't that awesome?
Mhm.
Always say, of course, I don't have any children, but I always say, how could you not love someone who loves your children, right?
Mhm.
How could you not love someone who really loves your children? So I think that is so sweet and so special that they love each other like that.
And sometimes young people can have beef, and like they have all this social media beef for some young people, and you never see that with those two. I
Yeah.
know these two were best friends.
So I didn't either, but I think Queen Latifah is kind of known to be reserved, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not surprised, right, that they are good friends, but she's reserved. You don't really hear a whole lot. You hear a lot of speculation about her, but she just does her thing, does her work, and keeps it moving. And of course, Jada Pinkett Smith I think she's kind of reserved too when she's not entangled. Um,
I I mean, I wouldn't call her reserved.
okay.
I think that she's when asked, she's outspoken. Like even when I was younger, I remember her saying things, and I would be surprised that she said them, right? And but she would be asked a question and she would answer it, and I would be like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe she said that." And I think that one of the things with her, I think that she was kind of on a path, like when she had the red table, and I think she was like on a healing path or something like that. That was like the impression that I got when she was so open about her life. I think that was like therapy for her.
Yeah.
And so she may have been reserved before, and then it's like the reaction that she got from being open wasn't the best one. So I think that's kind of why, we haven't really heard much from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful, obviously, both of them in their own right. And I guess
Mhm.
I say reserved, and I do look at her more now, right? Her stance in the entertainment world now seems a little bit more reserved, but she was definitely a firecracker when she was younger.
Mhm.
For me, Queen Latifah has just always been that even keel,
Yeah, always. She's always
yeah,
been.
just even keeled, classy woman. And so, but here's the thing, sometimes we look at people and we think they're friends, but you
Mhm.
know what people feel comfortable enough to share with one another, right?
Yeah.
That makes them gel. And so that's what I see in this. Like there must be something that they're
Mhm.
able to talk about and connect on a level that they can connect on that other people wouldn't be able to see, right? So that's what I see when I see these two. And these two,
I love them.
I
They're
know you said
funny
you love them. Why do you love them?
because they're so funny. Well, I love Niecy Nash anyway. It, I think I love her energy,
Mhm,
and I love that she's not afraid to be herself.
mhm.
Um, and Sherry's just funny. I love how they treat each other, how they always talk about each other. These two also always celebrate each other. They talk about how much they love each other, and they just seem like real homegirls.
Yeah.
Like that's my homegirl. They really seem like they support each other and have each other back no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. And that's important, right? In
Hmm.
friendship and with what they do for a living and being in the public eye. When I was younger, I just thought that that's where I would be, like in the public eye. And as I get older, I'm just like, no, no, no. I don't necessarily need that. Like, I don't have to be famous, Lord. I just want to be great, right? I just want to
Hmm.
be great with what you tell me to do. But these women live their lives every day in the public eye. And so the good things, the bad things, the challenging things, and they still decide to be friends and to hold on to one another. So
Hmm.
and
And support each other through it all. Like they've been through some stuff,
they
and
have
they've been
stuff.
to, and they have supported each other through it.
And
Yeah.
that's what friends do, right? That
Hmm.
even if it's not something I would do or I would think or I would, whatever. But if you're
Hmm.
my friend, I'm your friend, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's what their friendship has represented all of these years. Now,
Hmm.
this last one, so we were both saying we don't know if they're best friends
Their best friends are just friends.
or
Yeah.
just friends, but we know they're bandmates, right?
Hmm.
And I think Candy and Tiny of Escape, I think they have been the glue of their girl band, right? like they've been the constant, because the other two members are sisters, and I know they've had some challenges, and as all family members do from time to time, but I think they've been the glue. So I think sometimes when you're the glue, it brings you closer, right?
Mhm.
So, of course, we don't have any insight into their friendship, but we know they've been around since they were young girls too. They
Mhm.
started Escape, I think they were like 15 years old. And,
Mhm.
here, they're also our same age, right? And so they're still here though, and they're still smiling, and they're still working together. So that has to say something, right?
Mhm.
Still here because they choose it, right?
Mhm.
Don't necessarily need each other or need the band, I'm assuming, right? Because they have
They
success
have much other, yeah, they're successful. They have successful lives without it. So.
without it, right? So it's still a choice for them to do what they do. And so you gotta love and respect that. And one thing that I love and admire about Candy is a businesswoman, right? She's a
Mhm.
shrewd businesswoman. And I love that she is not afraid to wear her heart on her sleeve, and but she gets things done, and she's effective, right? And
Mhm.
what I love about Tiny has gotten so much flack, right? Just so much flack about everything. We live in such a cruel world, right?
Mhm. Judgmental world.
Judgmental world, right? But I love how she just I love how she, rocks with her family. I love that they're her priority, and so I just, I think they are, good examples for women who are successful together and successful apart, but still choose a friendship.
Mhm.
I think that says a lot about them. So
Like,
yeah, so those
yeah.
are some good examples. We got some good examples of friendship. So Gianna, if you had to wrap it up, if you had to think of, just something, a quote, an inspirational something that could wrap up what you think about friendship, what do you think it would be?
Oh, I had a couple. I thought about the one that says, a true friend is someone that knows you and loves you anyway.
Mhm.
Because I think that's what friends do. They know you and they love you anyway. They're there for you. So that's a really good one.
It
Really
is.
good one.
And there is one that I wanna share with you all that I think is so absolutely amazing. I'll pop it up on the screen. I just thought it's just so awesome. So this is by American cartoonist Bill Watterson, and he says things are never quite as scary when you've got a best friend. And I think that is so true.
Mhm.
Just someone that you can call and say, I'm scared. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit in with these people. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I don't know if my skirt is too tight. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I don't know. Just somebody that you can call and just be yourself with. It makes life, I feel, so much more palatable when you have somebody like you're not as scared to do certain,
Mhm.
right? But I think when you're by yourself and you're just kind of caught up in your own thoughts and emotions, like life can be scary,
Mhm.
I think we're living in really scary times right now, right?
Mhm.
The government is shut down right now.
Right now.
We'll
Mhm.
look back on this years from now. We'll be able to say, man, we started this when the government was shut down. We started
Mhm.
this when we were working, Gianna, you got to go to work in the morning, right?
I
And
good.
I got to work in the morning too. I got
Mhm.
meeting after meeting. But I think it makes it so much easier when you get to do life with people that you love. So, what would you encourage folks out there to do, Gianna?
Um, I would encourage them to be open to new things, open to new friendship, open to new connections. I think that's what this whole episode has been about. Just being open to new connections because you never know what might happen. You never know what it might lead to.
I agree. I agree. And I think just to kind of put everything that we've shared into a pattern, right? I think we talked a lot about being cautiously open. I think that's a good way to kind of looking at friendships in the future. And I think we also So in talking about being cautiously open, we're also talking about, it being okay for you to have an array of friends, right? Like, every friend that you have doesn't have to like to do every single thing you want to do.
Mhm.
Thing you want to do, but it doesn't mean that we can't, catch up later. This
Mhm.
might be your friend that you can go to the movies with. This might be your friend you can go dancing with. This might be your friend you can ride the ATV with. And
Mhm.
hey, and it doesn't make any of those friends any better or whatever than the other. It just means that the friendships are different. So I think if we pull everything together in a pattern when we talk about friendship, be open to different people and not putting them in the box of what maybe your 20-year-old self would tell you or your 30-year-old would self. But if you are a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old, I think one of the things that you can do is not kind of make some of the mistakes that we made and thinking that, friends have to all be the same or all do this or all do
Mhm.
because they don't. Because in fact, you have not met everybody who's going to love you, and you haven't met everybody that you are going to love. So,
Agree.
isn't that awesome?
Mhm.
Wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up, and I think we'll end it with this. Friends are those rare people who ask how we are and then wait to hear the answer. This came from an article in Woman's Day on friendship from Ed Cunningham, and I just thought I would share it because I think it is so important to really take time to love and to connect with the people who are in your space and know that people are here for a season, reason, or a lifetime, but how we treat people, I think, also determines that as well. So, good episode, Gianna. Good episode. So, I am so excited. Anything else you want to share as we get ready to wrap it up?
No, I agree. I agree. We talked and thought a lot about friendships, and and every time we have a conversation, then there's something new to think about. So, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we are signing off for now. Thank y'all for being a part of our first podcast, and we're going to keep them coming for you all. Keep them coming for you guys, and we definitely hope that you will spread the word and that you will come back and talk with us because that's our goal to include everybody. So y'all are our new friends as well. So we thank y'all so much for being with us, and thank you, Gianna, for being on this ride with me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Ciao.